Whether it was the American airstrike on Libya in 1986, the invasion of Iraq in 2003, or the intervention in Syria in 2014, whenever America wanted, it tried to reshape the fate of the Middle East. But there is one country that has refused to fall under their control for decades, and that country is Iran. Even today, America and Israel are searching for cracks in Iran's defenses. But that is not going to be easy. History is a witness. For centuries, Iran's heartland has proven remarkably resistant to permanent foreign occupation. Whether the invaders were Arabs, Turks, Russians, or even the mighty British Empire, Iran has time and again shown its strength to withstand powerful attacks. But what is the real secret behind this strength? What is it that makes Iran so uniquely resilient compared to many of its neighbors? Welcome back to Velmora Files. First, let's talk about the gift that nature itself gave to Iran. If Iran had to be described in a single sentence, it is a massive fortress. But the walls of this fortress were not built by humans. They were built by nature itself. This country is surrounded on all sides by mountains. The Zagros mountain range in the south acts like a giant wall against any enemy trying to approach from the south. Toward the southwest, the Zagros mountains gradually slope toward Iraq. But toward the northwest, they become so steep and towering that they create what is practically an impossible border with Turkey. And where there are no mountains, there are swamps, particularly where the Tigris and Euphrates rivers meet. These marshlands act as a natural barrier, much like the deep moat in front of a medieval castle. Moving to the north, where the Caspian Sea and Azerbaijan are located, the Alborz mountain range stands as a protective shield. Looking east, smaller mountain ranges wrap around Iran like a ribbon, forming its borders with Afghanistan and Pakistan. So Iran is secured on all four sides by these mountain ranges, like a fortress with natural walls. And in the south, the Persian Gulf itself serves as the final wall. If any enemy tries to invade from the Persian Gulf, they are immediately faced with mountains rising 1.5 kilometers high, stretching 250 kilometers inward. These natural mountain ranges have similarly protected Afghanistan from every invader, be it the Soviet Union or the United States. And for Iran, large-scale attempts to occupy the country have repeatedly failed over the centuries. Inside Iran, there are two massive deserts, Dasht-i and Dasht-i, so barren and hostile that people are forced to live mainly in the mountain regions. Iran's total population of nearly 93 million is mostly concentrated in these elevated highland areas. This is exactly why, for any foreign army, entering Iran and controlling it has always been a terrifying nightmare. Logistical nightmares, stretched supply lines, narrow mountain passes, and extreme weather conditions that create new problems every single day. But here's the other side of the story. These same mountain ranges that protect Iran also limit Iran. Historically, every time Iran tried to expand westward, these very mountain ranges became a major obstacle for Iran itself. This is precisely why Iran does not wage direct wars to maintain its presence in the west and south. Instead, Iran has built a network of Shia proxy groups, Hezbollah in Lebanon, the Houthis in Yemen, the Islamic resistance in Iraq, and Hamas and Islamic Jihad in Palestine. Now let's talk about the Strait of Hormuz. The Strait of Hormuz holds extraordinary strategic value for Iran. Look at the map. The entire northern coastline of the Persian Gulf, from start to finish, belongs exclusively to Iran. While the southern half is divided among 7 countries: Iraq, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Qatar, UAE, and Oman. On Iran's side of the strait, there is a V-shaped formation, which means Iran can control this narrow passage from 3 sides. This is why closing the Strait of Hormuz has always been extremely easy for Iran. Iran has stated clearly, if any country's ship moves toward Hormuz in a conflict, it will face serious consequences. By doing this, Iran doesn't just pressure the Gulf countries, it puts the entire world under pressure. Because around 20 to 25% of the world's oil, 90% of Qatar's LNG, and a significant part of the global energy supply all depend on this single strait. So for anyone thinking of attacking Iran, Iran holds this powerful leverage of disrupting Hormuz and creating major global economic impact. Iran's third geographical advantage is its extraordinarily long coastline. Iran's total perimeter is 8,731 kilometers. Of that, 2,815 kilometers is ocean coastline. That means 32% of Iran's entire border is coastline. And this is no ordinary coastline. Normally, beyond a coastline, there is flat sand. But here, there are mountain ranges. Iran has installed missile batteries at secret locations along this coast. There are caves and blind spots that are completely invisible to satellites or drones. Even if an enemy manages to land on Iranian shores, they immediately face the mountains, from where a sudden devastating counterattack can be launched at any moment. After geography, the Strait of Hormuz, and the difficult coastline, the fourth shield protecting Iran is its diverse population. Iran is a multi-ethnic nation, home to Persians, Azeris, Kurds, Arabs, Balochs, Turkmens, and many other tribes. Every group wants its own rights. Every group wants to protect its own language and culture. And each group has centuries-old differences with the others. Iran has managed to keep them largely united under the umbrella of Shia Islam. But protests still occur regularly. Recently, protests that began in December 2025 are still ongoing, with thousands killed so far, making it one of the largest protest movements since the Islamic Revolution of 1979. But here's the twist. While this multi-ethnicity is a problem for Iran, it becomes an even bigger problem for any outside invader. Anyone who wants to occupy Iran first has to fight the geography, and then somehow unite all these different groups under their control. That sounds virtually impossible. This is exactly why, during the era of British colonialism, when the British ruled over the entire subcontinent, Iran was never made into a colony. And both the US and Israel understand this very well. That's why calls are often made for the Iranian people to overthrow the regime themselves, because defeating Iran without internal support is nearly impossible. In September 1980, when the Iranian Revolution was still fresh, Saddam Hussein thought, Iran's army must be completely shattered right now. The system must be weak. With that thinking, Iraq invaded Iran with the intention of capturing it. But the war Saddam thought would be quick and easy lasted 8 full years. In the beginning, Iraqi forces had pushed deep inside Iran. But within just 2 years, Iran reclaimed all its territory. In this war, it wasn't just Iran's military that fought. Ordinary civilians joined the war. Everyone united under one umbrella, sacrificing their lives. Saddam had hoped that Iran's Arab population would defect to Iraq's side, that the Kurds would create chaos, and Iran would crumble from within. But all of Saddam's hopes were shattered. Those groups that had centuries-old disputes with each other, during the war, every single one of them united under the Shia Muslim umbrella. Iranian nationalism grew even stronger. After 8 years of war and around 1 million casualties, Saddam Hussein had to accept defeat without gaining a single inch of Iranian land. Iran's most dangerous weapon is not its army, it is its size. This is a country spread across 1.65 million square kilometers. That's enough to fit 2 countries like Pakistan's inside it. This is not a small target that can be captured in a few weeks. Anyone who crosses the border faces an endless maze of ancient mountain paths, desert plateaus, and cities buried deep in the interior. This is called the strategic depth concept. The deeper an enemy pushes in, the longer their supply lines become. Fuel and logistics pressure keeps increasing, and resistance forces get more and more time to regroup and strike. Tehran, Isfahan, Mashhad, none of these major cities are on the border. They are protected deep inside the country. By the time any enemy reaches them, they are already exhausted. So it wouldn't be wrong to say Iran's land itself is a silent guardian, one that uses time as its greatest weapon. So this is why Iran remains one of the most difficult nations to conquer in modern history. Protected by nature, empowered by its people, and shielded by its geography in ways no army has ever been able to overcome. We hope you enjoyed this video from Velmora Files. Thank you so much for watching, and please leave a comment. They truly mean everything to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next incredible video.